Good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and with me, all the way across from the pond and not from London, my very good brother, the Welsh Gamer. Welcome, dude.
Yeah, not from London. Let's remember this. Boom, I appreciate it, man. As you've passed me the mic, I was hoping to do a few shout outs.
Yes, please, by all means, take it away, my friend.
Well, I just want to do a quick shout out for my good friend MicroBox of X. I just wanted to let everyone know he does the Micropod every other Saturday. Please go over to his channel, drop a sub. Him and the guys who do that show are amazing. I have a lot of respect for them, massively respect all of what they're doing, and I recommend you go over there. But my second shout out is something a little bit more, I don't know, like
Personal.
let's say personal, yeah, personal, respectful. It's certainly something that we can all hang our hats on, because we all at one point or another have either heard of this individual or it definitely hits home for the people who bleed green. But I wanted to do a shout out to Xbox Addict, because from what I gathered, I confirmed with Boom just to be sure, because I wasn't 100%, but from what I gathered from the Twitter streets at the moment and the few tweets I've been reading recently, it seems as it has been, or at least closing in on a year since he unfortunately passed away. And I just wanted to say that the community is still a huge fan of the passion that he did have for the Xbox brand. And even to this day, I still see people with the Xbox Addict logo as their Twitter avatar. It just speaks volumes, Boom. And, he may be gone, but he is certainly not forgotten, especially amongst the Xbox fans. And I hope to God he is gaming in heaven, and, bleed green, brother, bleed green.
Yeah, absolutely. The Xbox Addict was a part of this Xbox community, but he talked with everyone, regardless of what color banner you waved, whether it be emerald green or blue or red for Nintendo. He was a gamer at heart, and he helped everyone. As a matter of fact, he helped me with the situation that many people are aware of, that he got Aaron Greenberg involved when Xbox sent me the black Elite controller in replacement of my Gears special edition controller. And when he heard what happened to me, he immediately reached out to Microsoft Brass and got involved. And I'm always going to be grateful for him for doing that, because he didn't have to. So what I'd like to do before we get into the topics, out of respect and honor for the Xbox Addict, is I'd like to take a moment of silence, and I wish everyone would just bow their head and obviously pray that he is doing well in heaven, because that's exactly where he is. So we're going to do that right now. Listen, folks, thank you so much for taking a few seconds of your time to pray that he is in Xbox heaven, having every controller he can ever imagine, every custom console he can ever imagine. And just to say this, he is someone that the community misses. And like Welsh was saying, people still represent that incredible logo. So like I said, God bless him and his entire family. His loss has been felt throughout the entire gaming space. But Drew, I want to go to you immediately, because you had reached out to me when you regarding a specific topic that you came up with, and I thought it was amazing. It was a great way to start off the show. So why don't you take the mic, dude?
No, I appreciate it, man, and appreciate everyone in the chat. There's even a gentleman who, or it could be a woman, I don't know, Vogels Craig.
Yeah, Vogels Krieg, yes.
As I can see, he or she, because I'm probably butchering the name, has an Xbox Addict logo as their picture. So just there we go. Just like I said, people are still got his picture supporting him and stuff. But thanks for doing the silence with us, guys. I just thought it was more than more than necessary to give him a shout out. But as for the show at hand, I wrote up a topic because it seems to be a running theme now. I do enjoy doing the original pieces, and after the recent State of Play PlayStation stream event that happened, I just come to grips with a certain thing that it's a topic that I've certainly been thinking of over the last few years anyway. So for Boom, Mr. Boomstick, I've got for you, sir, And the beauty is you are a PSVR owner as well. So
Correct. Yes.
this question, I couldn't think of anyone better to answer than yourself. You're a fan of the PlayStation and you're a fan of PlayStation VR. So I thought that this was very relevant. But basically, VR as a conversation is a very funny conversation. Would you agree?
Yes, no, I think it is a very important conversation because depending on who you ask, some people have no place for VR in their gaming space, and I completely respect it and understand it. For me personally, I don't use my PlayStation VR very often. I use it when a new game comes out. I play that game to its completion usually, and that's about it. Every now and again, when I feel like doing something different, playing an older game like Batman or something like that, I'll play through it again because it was amazing, right? It's not something I would use every day, but I absolutely have to say that it is. I'm really glad I got in on the ground floor with VR for PlayStation, and sadly enough, I kind of wish Microsoft went in on it, but I understand why they didn't, Drew.
No, that's fair enough. Well, that's the thing. Like, there's some people who do believe it's in its infancy. There's certainly people like yourself, early adopters, that are huge fans of the potential and its current offerings. And then when we do talk about PSVR, it is a very accessible piece of kit thanks to the efficiency of consoles, and PlayStation definitely put their foot in that pie when it comes to VR, and I do commend them for that. And there's obviously people that would argue that it does have a place in today's gaming world, as you just mentioned. But it would seem evident, though, that VR hasn't quite taken off, with only 4% of PlayStation owners owning a PSVR. Would you, that's the numbers. That's not me making that up. So I have two questions for you, Boom. With everything you just said, the build up, everything that I just said. Question number one is this: do you feel, Boom, that it was a smart move by Phil to hold his horses instead of throwing unnecessary money into an Xbox version of the VR peripheral, when obviously VR has struggled to go mainstream?
Well, you know what? When you look back at why Phil Spencer did what he did, I would have to say, yes, I agree with Phil. And here's why. You know, I'm a big fan of Phil Spencer. I think that I've made that blatantly known. I think that he is the right leader for the Xbox brand. He is a gamer. He is, a true friend of the community, but he's also a smart businessman. And, I was actually talking about this on Gaming News at Noon with Salty and Boom yesterday with Salty regarding VR. And, I broke it down like this very simply. If you were an investor, right? If you're one of these guys who have these 3-piece suits, front parking spot, corner office, and you make these big buck decision for your company, and you say, okay, well, you can't challenge numbers, right? Both Salty and I agree that we're analytic kind of guys, right? When numbers start and end the conversation. I said that yesterday, and if you missed that episode, head over to Salty's channel. It was a great 90 plus minute show. If you and me are sitting down, Welsh, right, and we're with Sony, and we're ready to invest big time. You and I, both separate companies, we're investors. Mm-hmm. And we say, well, how many PlayStation units are there? So the big Sony guys going to say, well, sir, we're almost at. They're almost. I think they passed 94 million. But for shits and giggles, let's just say 100 million. We have 100 million consoles. You say, wow, 100 million consoles sold worldwide. You guys are great. The people love you. Okay, so we heard about this VR thing. You put on your face, and we want to invest because these guys they don't play games. They just want to make money. That's their game. They make money. And you say, well, what is the ratio between customers? How many PlayStation 4 owners have a PlayStation 4 have PSVR? And the guy gets real quiet on the other side of the table and says, well, right now we're at 4%. We just broke 4 million since its launch in 2016. And the investors immediately go, well, we're out.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, I'm going to say this. I love the PlayStation VR so much that I had the original unit and it did not have a HDR pass-through. When that upgrade came, I sold my other one privately and I bought another one. I bought the new one with the HDR pass. That's how much I really enjoy it. But at the same time, to answer your question, was Phil Spencer right? Yes, and here's why. They have been extremely gun shy since Connect 2.0, and for good reason. Connect, the first one, sold like gangbusters, broke records all over the place. And they launched the Xbox One, and they forced people to have this in the box, and it was integrated into the console, and they just, it hurt the brand. And to invest in a VR, even though they had said they were going to do a secondary, like a third party VR unit, where you remember that you're like, oh yeah, third party, this is going to be great. And they changed their mind because it's it would have taken power away from what they do. You have to understand what Microsoft has shown the fans right now, as of 2019, on this day, has been in play. This plan has been in place for probably about 18 months prior to it going into action. So they have an ideology that they want to follow. So to be completely honest, as a fan of VR, I wish Microsoft had their own version. But as a realist, I'm glad Phil waited, because he said he wanted to do something when he wanted to put it out there when had no wires. And maybe that's when they'll launch it, Drew.
No, man, I appreciate that, Boom. That was fantastically answered. Like, my answer to that is simple. I think Xbox did the right thing holding back. They learned the hard way with the VR, with the Kinect, sorry, as you've mentioned. And I just think the fact that they are biding their time is definitely the most pro-business move you can do, really. I mean, it's like anything. Like, we saw it with 3D TVs,
yes,
like Samsung and Sony, and however many of these companies jumped the gun and were like, "Oh, 3D's the future." And I could count on one hand how many people in the fucking world bought one. And my father-in-law was one of them, and it came with one set of glasses, and they snapped after 3 attempts. It was pants.
Yeah,
so yeah,
not good.
Until something's mainstream, I just think it's pointless in these businesses investing. But question number 2, Boom, fantastic answer for the record. Question number 2 I've got. Now, this is regarding State of Play, the recent, PlayStation. It was 20 minutes. They streamed it. It was almost their answer to the Inside Xbox sort of thing. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Boom. Was the recent PlayStation State of Play stream event, where they showcased PSVR for 20 minutes, or at least close to, and all the negative feedback that it received, and so much negative feedback, mind you, that they even deleted the original stream and re-uploaded it, but to try and avoid the amount of negativity that it had received, only to have people go right back to it and hit the dislike button. So, despite their best efforts to delete and re-upload, it has made no difference. They have received nothing but negative feedback. Does that, via post-event, all that negative feedback, just further prove that most people today, in today's gaming climate, are just not that into VR, and that Xbox did, in fact, make the right move not investing in it?
Yeah, I have a fantastic answer. I just want to give 2 big shout outs. Ricardo Willis with the outstanding $2 super chat. He says, best podcast at noon, world's finest. Thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say. And we have here another $2 super chat. Thank you so much from D Rob. Dude, I really appreciate that. People think that it has to be a big amount. Listen, the fact that you're here in the chat is more than enough for us. We do greatly appreciate it. But to answer your question, look, here's the thing. Big shout out to Dealer Gaming. I was listening to, prior to going live on this show, to Tuesday's RDX, and Jay Fonzarelli did some investigating reporting regarding this situation. And at the time of the show, he said that after they deleted the one, or made it private so no one can see it, and then re-uploaded this streamlined version, it was 6,000 likes to 20,000+ dislikes. So the move backfired. Of course, I saw it on Twitter myself. Somehow or another, the Xbox community got blamed, along with the Nintendo community, for gathering up together with our pitchforks and torches, and we went and hit that dislike button. And I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. The 20,000, you may have a few Xbox extremists out there that are like, you know what, I'm going to give it F Sony. I'm going to give it to them right up to you know what. But that's not the case. That's their fan base, man. That's their fan base saying, guess what? We don't like VR. This was a bollocks show, if by any stretch of the truth. And listen, I'm as a fan of VR, as a fan of the PlayStation VR, I have to say I was disappointed because those games did not look very good. The Iron Man, I got excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's great, Iron Man. And then you see what the game is, and then they keep going back and forth saying, not actual gameplay, not actual gameplay. So, I mean, what are we actually seeing then? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. What are we showing? And the games that they showed, look, I said from the beginning that I expected this show to open with Sean Layden saying, welcome to a new era of PlayStation news. Here you go. Thank you for being here. He goes off to the side, and they'd show a bunch of cool games, maybe show some games that we haven't seen. I expected their marketing, which has dominated this generation, to be upfront and give the fans what they really wanted, because we haven't heard anything since E3. It's been what, nothing, right? So it was an epic fail in that part, but also the VR games that they showed proved that their own fan base is just not supporting it, Drew.
No, definitely. It certainly cements for me that like Xbox made the right move by not investing this early. I'm not saying they should never invest in VR. I'm more than willing to bet that the Xbox will accommodate, or at least, or maybe even have its own VR as time progresses, because the VR is most likely going to be, you know, improved upon and made better as time progresses. But I just think right now, well, not even right now, like PSVR, what's that? They've been doing that. That's been around since like 2016, 2017 now. Like they got into it very early, and I think they just jumped the gun. And this state of play thing was just like, I do think that was the nail in the coffin. I could be a bit harsh in saying that, but I do believe that was just all the proof that like Phil and team needed, that we made the right move in not jumping on the VR train early on. I think so anyway.
Well, listen, real quick before we move on to the next topic, I have to give some massive shout outs here, Welsh. First of all, Al Hogan, fellow brother in blue, with the outstanding and ridiculous $25 super chat. He says, boom, my brother and Welsh gamer. Sorry, haven't been in the chat for a while. It's getting warm out, so crime is afoot. Yes, unfortunately, that is very true. But I always catch your show after the fact. My favorite gaming podcast. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, dude. First of all, for being here. Like I always tell you, watch your six, because you can't trust anybody, because they're always looking to hurt you. And thank you so much for the super chat. And of course, Creeper, a big fan of the show, an outstanding $25 super chat. He said, I've been waiting for VR tech to improve before jumping in. Hashtag wireless. I'm going to give it a go on the PS5. Yes, I'm right there with you, dude. If they come out with another unit, guess what? Boom is buying it. And the Chaos Theory, another big fan of the show. Thank you so much with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, thank you guys for doing this show. It makes my lunch so much better. I bleed green. Yes, dude. Well, listen, if we can take any time of this world that could be horrible and make it fun for you, we are doing our jobs as hosts of a show that both of us are extremely passionate about doing, especially because it concerns the Xbox brand. But Welsh, is there anything you'd like to add to your topic before we move on to the next one?
No, Matt, you couldn't have answered it better. All I will say is, everyone in the chat, do you believe that Phil Spencer made the right move in not jumping on the VR train? 1 for yes, you believe he was correct, or 2, hell no, I want an Xbox VR immediately. But that's it, Boom. Crack on, man. I'm excited.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to talk about a topic that I think everyone in the chat is going to dig. I think you're going to dig it. I'm definitely digging it because I wrote it. And it's regarding Gears of War. I mean, listen, you can't talk about Gears every show because there's not always news. So I found this story on comicbook.com where it talks about what the Gears team is currently doing with Gears 4, and that the team is now shifting its full focus onto Gears 5. and they just added something called the Gilded Ram Challenge to round out all of the DLC that they've been doing for Gears of War 4. I have some statements from the coalition, and I just want to kind of read this out there because it just really, when we're done with this topic, you're going to understand if you were on the fence about what the coalition does or how they respect the brand of Gears of War, but more importantly, the players. Just listen to some of the stuff that they've done. This is coming from. Now, I don't know if this is a direct quote from Rod Ferguson, but it's definitely a spokesperson for the coalition. It says the time has come to say goodbye to new customization content and gear packs in Gears 4 as the team shifts their full focus into making Gears 5 the best game possible. The end of the road marks the most content released for any Gears game in the series history, with 269 characters and 2,384 weapon skins added over, hold on a sec, the past 2.5 years. We introduced new favorites, which is someone wearing a sweater. I don't know what that is because I don't really play Gears online, and fulfilled 10-year-old fan requests. I mean, think about that for a second. 10-year-old fan requests they fulfilled in the DLC. So, I mean, that in itself is incredible, Welsh. And he finished it off by saying, "We hope you've enjoyed the ride. While scaling back its resources on Gears 4, the team is teasing future content on the horizon with plenty of special events and more reportedly planned ahead for the next game." Listen, Drew, I mean, when you read this out loud, right? And you think about, there was nearly 3 years worth of support and content for Gears 4. And I personally could not be more excited for Gears 5. I think I think everyone will agree with that.
Oh, yes.
The amount of time and effort that has been shown for Gears 4 is not usually found in the single player centric titles that have multiplayer aspects to it. It's what makes the Gears franchise so damn great that they have this team developing for it. What are your thoughts on almost 3 years of post-launch support, and that they're going to, I mean, you see what they did with 4. We can only imagine what they're going to do with 5.
Oh, mate, honest to God, like the level of support that is put into. I want to just, we're talking Gears, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. The level of support that is put into Xbox's first party post-launch is just remarkable, Boom. It's a remarkable thing, and I can definitely, it can definitely be seen for most of Xbox games. Examples for Halo 5, Forza Horizon, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves. All of those games have had continuous support, heavily supported, from their release to this very day, and they will continue to be supported until the next project is arrives. And that is certainly on this topic the case that we're seeing with Gears. Like Gears 4 is like one of my favorite games this generation. I play it very, very regularly, and that game has had so much support, Boom. It has had so many updates. The content just continue. It just hasn't stopped. It's like an unstoppable train, Boom, ranging from maps, characters, gun cosmetics, you name it, Boom. It has just been constant, and I just think it's fantastic that they have come out and basically professed what a ride it has been. They're basically just saying Gears 4 was the love child of the coalition, and we can't wait to double down on this same level of content, creativity, and support, but for Gears 5. And I've said it to you, Boom, you just said it again. Gears 5 is my most anticipated game of this year. It would seem as well, like we can pretty much confirm, that Gears 5 is going to be the coalition's first true Gears game.
Yes. Yep.
Honestly, like we can all agree Gears 4 is phenomenal, but they pretty much said when Gears 4 came out that Gears 4 was a safe bet. They just wanted to show the world that they are the right people for Gears, and Gears 5 is going to be the Gears made in their image. So having them already more than prove themselves with Gears 4, I have no doubt that Gears 5 is going to be another step above. and the support that it's going to receive is ridiculous. I mean, Gears 4 is just but a taste of what's to come, guys. I'm excited, Boom. I can't I literally can't say anything more than that. They're just amazing. The coalition have a place with Xbox and its first party. The support they give the Gears franchise, and I can't wait to see what they do with it, man. I'm so excited.
You know, you look back at some of the moves that Microsoft may have missed on, like the potential to buy BioWare many years ago, right, during the OG Xbox games. And then you look back at some of the moves that they made right. And when they went out and grabbed Rod Ferguson, remember, he had left Epic, right? He was out doing his own thing, and they bought the Gears franchise, and they needed a studio head. And who else could run it than Rod Ferguson? And they signed that dude to a megaton deal, and it's one of the best signings / purchases Microsoft has made so far, because Gears is Xbox. You know, when you say Marcus Phoenix, it holds the exact same weight as the Master Chief. And if you don't think so, I hear you. But as a fan of both brands, I think that they both, in the kingdom of Xbox, when you're walking up these emerald stairs, right there to greet you, to say, "Don't F around in our house, or I'm going to cut you down with either a laser sword or a chainsaw," you have a statue of Marcus Phoenix standing tall and proud, and on the other side of the pillar, you have the Master Chief. That's my envision of the Xbox heaven that I hope that we all eventually get to. So I don't know. I mean, listen,
I completely agree.
All I can say is that Gears 5, if it's the Gears I think we're gonna get, and I know that you booed me the last time, so I'm not gonna bring it up. I don't want to get booed. This is a good show. We have a positive attitude here. If it's the Gears that I'm thinking we're gonna get, my God, I cannot wait to the end of the year. But before we move on to the next topic, though, I have to say a big, ginormous thank you to Philly Eagle with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, "Boom and Welsh, the absolute creme de la creme of gaming podcast hosts. Thank you for your show. Keep rocking, my gaming brothers." Well, listen, thank you, dude, for the super chat, but thank you for always being here and hanging out and supporting the channel, because that is really what it counts. We do this for you guys because we love the community and we love Xbox, and that's what we're here. So let's move on to the next topic, and it's a good one. Now, this was talked about last week, about what Phil Spencer had to say when he was talking about Google Stadia. And what I wanted to talk about was, we'll obviously discuss what he said. But what he said at the end of it is how that they're going to go big at E3 basically proves to me that they have a lot to show us. And this could potentially be the biggest Xbox show in E3 history. Now, according to a report from Thurrott.com, Phil Spencer himself sent an email discussing Stadia and what it meant for Project xCloud to the employees after its announcement. Project xCloud is Microsoft's, of course, game streaming platform, which should enter public trials this year. And I'm going to be honest with you, this isn't a fanboy talking, this is a realist. They definitely have a leg up on Google for the fact that they have Xbox Game Pass and they have all the Xbox originals, meaning their first parties that unfortunately Google does not have. Will they eventually have their own first party stuff? Yes, but it's going to be years. So let me read to you exactly what Phil Spencer had to say if you didn't already hear it. We just wrapped up watching the Google announcement for Stadia with the team here at GDC. Their announcement is a validation of the path we embarked on 2 years ago. Today, we saw a big competitor enter the gaming market and frame the necessary ingredients for success as content, community, and cloud, the 3 big C's. There were no big surprises in their announcements, although I was impressed by the leverage of YouTube and the use of Google Assistant and the new Wi-Fi controller. Now, this is where it gets good, folks. But I want to get back to us. There has been really good work to get us in the position where we're poised to compete for 2 billion gamers across the planet. Google went big today. We have a couple of months until E3 when we go big. We have to stay agile and continue to build our customer at the center. We have the content, community, cloud team, and strategy as I've been saying for a while, it's all about the execution, and that's how it ended. Listen, Welsh, look, I'm going to say this. I got goosebumps reading it just live on the air. I got goosebumps reading it when I read it the first time last week, simply because this we're not supposed to see this. This is to the employees of Microsoft who are involved in the Xbox brand. This got leaked, and Thurrott.com put it out there for everyone. I don't think Phil Spencer was mad either, because all he's saying is that we're ready. So after reading this, after I sent you the notes and you made your own notes for this, what were your takeaways with the confidence that Phil Spencer and the team at Redmond have for Xbox moving forward into E3 2019?
I gotta be honest, Boom. This is probably this topic, out of all of them, is the one that I was most excited to give my piece on.
Nice.
Because it doesn't just this whole scenario, like with Google Stadia and all that. So it doesn't just validate what we've been saying. It doesn't just validate what Phil is doing. I gotta be honest. For me personally, for me as an individual, it's totally for me. It's like taking the weight off my shoulders, because I feel like as an individual, and people, if you don't believe me, go back to my videos that I've done over the last like 3-4 years. Like, I have been saying this shit for so long, and despite the like, that's what I'm saying. If it feels good for me to think it and say it, and reading that, like, I'm getting like, oh, that's such a good feeling. I can only imagine what Phil's feeling. But this, once again, Boom, in answer to your question, without sounding like an echo in a cave, this just cements not only that me, the dumbass Welsh gamer, and what I've been saying for years, but even like, just last week on the Xbox Factor. But guys, everyone listening, Phil knew what was coming. Back when he took over years ago, he had basically prophesized exactly where game was going. And despite all the ridicule he got from the media and the fanboys, what you must understand is seeing Google reveal Stadia, while a lot of people might look over this point, but this is the importance of what has happened in the last week with Google Stadia being announced. This just further proves that Phil wasn't only completely ahead of the curve, not only is he a fucking genius, but he is so overly prepared for the future, it's not even fair to any of the other competitors. Now, forget the other console competitors for a moment, because if you ask me, without being nasty, they're not even relevant in this conversation. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Forget the other consoles. I'm talking about Google now. Google is their true competitor.
Yep.
If we're just looking at Google Stadia, Xbox is way more prepared and has a far better arsenal of gamer options, studios, games, and features. And, that's not even, that Google can't even cater to yet. And the main example I can give, which I gave last week, is that gives Xbox a ridiculously huge advantage over Google, is being that the people out there, and there's going to be plenty of them, that don't have the internet speed required to stream flawlessly, while those individuals are going to be stumped for choice with Stadia, as it is literally stream or no, there's no other option. Xbox is going to have the traditional box under the TV option, as well as the xCloud streaming service for those who have the capable internet speeds. Not to mention, Boom's brought it up in previous shows, but Xbox with the xCloud has got a system in place which takes half of the weight off you. So even if you don't have the most capable internet system, the cloud is going to do most of the work for you. So like I said, they are preparing for every avenue. Now, why am I yet again explaining all of this? Because none of you in the chat are stupid by any means. I'm not trying to patronize you. I'm just repeating this because yet again I wanted to explain all of this because this is everything that we know. This is everything we know. And E3 hasn't even been and gone yet. So when Phil says to his comrades privately in an email, but we have, thankfully got to see it. But when he says Google went big today, E3 is when we go big. Boom, that is him. And it's him being respectful because this was a private email to a colleague. That so he could have said what he wanted. He could have said, "Oh, fuck Google, they're idiots," but he didn't. So what he said is, in a nutshell, it's him basically saying in the most respectful way that we know and come to love from Phil Spencer. Big ups to Google for further proving that after all these years of shaping the future of Xbox, I am in fact not a nutcase going mad, and that I was always on the right track. But if you thought Stadia was impressive, ladies and gentlemen, just wait until Xbox is E3. Now, in answer to your question on a personal level, Boom, E3 2019 is going to be another milestone for Xbox and gaming as a collective. And to say I'm excited would be a true understatement.
Well, obviously for selfish and very personal reasons, I'm even more excited because I'm actually going to be at E3 2019. It's my first E3 ever in all of my 40 plus years gaming. I never thought it was going to be possible. And thanks to the guidance of the Iron Lords podcast, which if you're not subscribed to these guys, get over there and do it now. Tell them Boom sent you. They're one of the best shows out there. They really are. They have so many programs, and their panel, my God, the King is just amazing. He should be a stand-up comic. You laugh from the beginning of the show to the end, and they guided me on how to get there. And I'm hoping that I get into the Xbox conference. Fingers crossed. I may have to reach out to Phil personally and see if he can help me get in because, man, this is the year you want to be there. But real quick, Welsh, before we move on to the next topic, which is our new addition to the show each and every week with Xbox backwards compatibility fun topic, didn't you have something you wanted to give away today?
Yes. That we are giving basically. Dave Sweeps, lovely gentleman. I'm a huge fan of what he does. He sent me on Xbox a copy of Final Fantasy VII, and I explained to Dave Sweeps via Twitter DM, I appreciate what you're doing, dude. I appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate that you sent me this code, but I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy, so I wouldn't feel right taking it. So with his permission, I've asked if I can give it away on the Xbox Factor podcast. So yeah, so I'm not very good with this giveaway stuff. What do you reckon?
What I just did is I put a hashtag in the in the chat. Basically, go to Twitter and type in the hashtag Daz Boom Welsh in all lower caps, and we're gonna draw a winner in a little bit. Also, thanks to UK Dazzers, he has a giveaway. I believe it's 3 months of Xbox Game Pass. Daz, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much for that. He wanted to give back to the community, so we're going to be giving 2 giveaways today, and I will be picking a winner. So head over to Twitter, do the hashtag Daz Boom Welsh, one word, lower caps, and I'll pick a winner in a little bit. So let's move on to the next topic, and this is a good one. Now, due to popular demand and many DMs that I've gotten, many tweets I've seen out there, thanks to Boom and Welsh, I'm playing this game. I can't believe I missed it. Welsh and I decided that we were going to have the Xbox backwards compatible section of each and every show because you know what? There are so many games that are available you might have missed. So, Welsh, do you have 2 picks that you would like to suggest to the gaming community and one that you'd like to see eventually get there?
Absolutely. These are going to be, my first one that I suggest that you go and get on right now if you haven't, and this is in spirit of E3 2019 that we just talked about, because basically that last question, Boom, I was so excited to hit it because it was talking about like the future of Xbox. Xbox is looking better than ever. People can make fun and say it isn't, but it is. there's so many things I expect to see at E3, and we can talk about xCloud and the net of the future and what's coming. But in terms of games, the game that I heavily anticipate to see, and even though I've even had Salty say it isn't happening, well, stop it. But Fable, I expect Fable to come, and I expect Fable to do exactly what 343 is doing with the Halo franchise, a spiritual reboot of the franchise. So with that in mind, what better game to get your ass on if you haven't already? And I imagine there are more people than I probably give credit that haven't. And that is the Fable anniversary for the Xbox 360. That you know, it's the 4K patch. It literally looks like a game that came out this year. It's phenomenal. It's the best Fable of the series, and I do honestly think, while that seems like a very obvious pick, which it is, I'll admit, that is a game that I could play any day of the week. Or it's a game I'll probably go back to till the day I die. So for the spirit of E3 2019, for the build up to get your ass on the Fable hype train, I urge that you give that a go, because especially if you've got the Xbox One X, guys, it looks absolutely stunning. How Xbox have made a game that is that old looks so refreshed.
It looks great.
It's mind-boggling. So
I actually beat that game in 2018.
Oh yeah, well, I started it like last year again. I got like halfway through, took a break. I'm going to go back to it. I like making my guy really evil with horns and shit. I'm a bastard. We have for my second pick an OG game now, Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Nice, that's a strong title, dude.
Yeah, no, that is one of my favorite games from the OG Xbox. It was actually, when I first got my OG Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, it was around the time I think that might have even dropped. I can't remember. All I remember is on my birthday one year, my older brother got me Elder Scrolls Morrowind when it was like just dropping or something. And I was just like, oh, what's this? And he was explaining to me. I was like, oh man, wicked. And you could not get me off it. It was a fantastic game. And I've played Oblivion and Skyrim ever since. And I look forward to the next Elder Scrolls. It's the first ever Elder Scrolls I ever played, and I loved it. So for people who haven't played it and you're a fan of that franchise or anything open world like The Witcher or Skyrim, I'd say it's worth your time. Now, in terms of a request, Boom, this is like the fourth week in a row I've said this, but I don't care, god damn it. They heard me the other week, so who knows, they might hear me this week. Brothers in Arms, Road to Hill 30 and Earned in Blood. Just make it happen, god damn it.
Well, they listened the first time, so maybe we'll get the other two, and that's going to be something you're going to be solely responsible for, getting on the show and talking about that. Those are all really strong picks, dude. Really, really funny at the end, of course. Listen, Phil, if you're listening, please get this done for this man. I think the community will appreciate a good Brother in Arms game. Again, it's a series that has gone away and still has life, thanks to the recent addition to the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. Here are my two game suggestions, and one I wish would come. First of all, it's an OG Xbox title. It was developed by Criterion Games. It's called Black. It is one of the greatest military shooters you've never played, and it is backwards compatible. It is fantastic. I mean, listen, it was so advanced for its time. It had destructible environments. You can shoot through walls. It was so good. I own it on the Xbox One. I think it was actually part of Xbox Games with Gold at one point. But if you don't have it, I think it's $10. It's certainly worth your time. It's a great FPS, especially if you like military shooters. My second choice is an Xbox 360 game. It was developed by Crytek. It saw huge success on the PC, and it's the original Crysis. It still holds up to this day. It looks absolutely fantastic, runs like a dream. If you have not played this game, you missed out on another FPS action-adventure game that just has you. It was a great story. It was what put Crytek on the map, this game, when it launched on PC, and we got a fantastic version for the Xbox 360. So if you haven't picked that up, that's something you may want to check out video and look at that. And the one title that I'm dying to have them make backwards compatible, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I think it should.
Boom.
Splinter Cell on the
Drum
OG
roll,
Xbox.
please. I was going to do a drum roll for that one.
Oh,
That's the big
sorry
one.
about that, dude.
Splinter
Yeah,
Cell.
it's a Splinter Cell on the OG Xbox. I cannot forget the opening song for the game when you're crawling through the vents. You put on night vision goggles, you see the spider webs moving. It even to this day, it still looks like the graphics were unreal for your eyes to see. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I'd love to see the original Splinter Cell. At this point, I would take anything Splinter Cell. But I would like to play the original. So that is going to be it for this particular topic. And again, folks, I'm glad we got real good feedback with this. I like suggesting games because I play a lot and I own a lot of games. I have over almost 850 games on my Xbox One between 3 hard drives. So I do enjoy playing games. And when we recommend these games to you, it's not because we're just trying to fill a topic. It's because we actually played them and maybe you didn't. So if you're enjoying it, just let us know on Twitter. Hit us up in the DM. Send out a tweet. Say, hey, Boom and Welsh suggested this game. It's amazing. I'd like to see who's taking advantage of this particular new topic. So let's move on to the next one, Welsh. ID Xbox game ID at Game Pass launched their 13-minute snippet on right after the day after Sony did their State of Play. And it's going to be a new monthly program that they're going to do. It's not live, folks. I want people to understand that it's not an addition or a replacement for the Xbox show, the Inside Xbox show that we sometimes love and sometimes hate. But it debuted on March 26th, 2019, of course, on the Xbox YouTube channel. And it was done in recorded video format, very, very similar to what Nintendo Directs do when they have their showcases that happen every couple of months. And it was hosted by Chris Charla, and you can find him. You can find him at IOCat on Twitter, and Sarah Condi, and you can find her on Twitter at Sarah Condi. And it also starred Nick. I'm gonna butcher this name. Zuklik. That's what it sounds like anyway. He is the content planner for the ID at Xbox team. And, they showed off 8 titles. And they are smaller titles. But you see why this was more important. Why this, you say to yourself, and I know there's going to be people in the chat that say, wait a second, boom, hold on a second. You complained about Sony's State of Play, but you're giving props to this 13-minute recorded video session of ID at Xbox Game Pass. Yes, and here's why. I have an explanation for you, and this is not a fanboy thing. This is, again, it's a reality thing, okay? They debuted 8 games that were in development at the ID at Xbox program. It is a big program for Microsoft. It showcases smaller devs with the help of Microsoft. Why this is important for the Xbox brand is because every game that was shown off will be added to Game Pass day and date, increasing the value of the outstanding $10 a month you're already paying. Now, again, some of them are smaller titles. I get that. And maybe they're not for you. But we have a guy in the chat, a good friend of the show, good friend of the community, the Indie Gamer. He was working with Salty the day that they did this, and he had a lot of great things to say about some of these games. So I'm going to give you a list of the games that were there. If you missed this, I would suggest going out there and watching it. It's only 13 minutes, but it's packed with information. Drew, were you able to watch it?
Yes.
So what were your takes on it, and why do you feel it was better than what Sony had to offer?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and compare because it's subjective at the end of the day. But judging this 30-minute spit of these idea Xbox things, I'm just going to say this, like talking directly on the whole idea Xbox Game Pass thing they did. I absolutely love, and I saw a few people saying this in the chat as well, so I know I'm going to get people agreeing with me here, but I absolutely love what Xbox does with their Idea Xbox program. I am a huge fan of what they do with the indies over there, like the support they give, and I just think it's incredible. Those games they've shown, like, they might not be for everybody. I'm not saying I'm going to get or play. I should say I'm not going to play every single one, because I will be getting them day and date in Game Pass, which is amazing. But indie developers nowadays are pushing and risking and trying and innovating more than I'd say a lot of AAA devs are nowadays. I'm not going to lie, Boom. I know that might be a bit of a head scratcher for some people, but like, just take like State of Decay as an example. Like, that game, when it came out on the 360, the original one, was a arcade title. 4 men and wanking in a sock in their basement made that game, and now it's like a AAA. The next project they'll do is going to be a AAA project, like massive first party studio. They've got loads of budget. You've got to start somewhere, and I think the way Xbox propels these titles, it's just amazing. I think it's fantastic, and all of those titles that they did show were very colorful. I loved the art style. Like, those games, they did look really fantastic to me, Boom. And most specifically, the one I am actually
I know what you're going to go with. I know what you're going with. Gad, say it.
After Party.
That actually fooled me, but After Party does look really good. Real quick before we continue with this fun topic, the winner of Final Fantasy VII, the community's own lovable Agent Dubs, known as the Graphic God. Congratulations, J Dubs, for winning the Final Fantasy VII for the Xbox One. Welsh Gamer will be getting in touch with you. That is freaking awesome. I love to see good people win. I'm going to pick the winner for the 3 months of Xbox Game Pass after this topic, so stay tuned. Get out there. Remember, hashtag DazBoomWelsh. Put it out there on Twitter, and I'm going to pick it in a few. I actually thought you were going to say Void Bastards, which
that looks phenomenal.
So good.
Mate, that looks very good. Trust me, I'm not saying that any one of those titles don't look. I'm just saying, of all those titles, the one that caught my attention the most was Night School's After Party. I thought the story was very different. The whole concept of these two young college students got in an accident. They go to hell. It sounds very morbid, but it looks quite funny.
Yeah, and actually, it looks like it could be an anime, actually.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I love the whole concept. So it's just going to be a crazy story about trying to figure out how to outdrink the devil. Because if it's a competition in hell where if you drink the devil under the table, you get reintroduced back onto Earth. You can actually leave hell. It looks really cool. Idea Xbox overall, though, what an amazing concept that I am truly behind.
Yeah,
most indie devs are pushing and innovating and actually taking risks that these bigger devs aren't too afraid of. They are, like, too many devs nowadays play it safe. You only have to look at EA with like FIFA and Madden, or look at Infinity Ward or whatever with bloody Call of Duty. The same fucking game year in, year out, no innovation. Honestly. And while all that's going on and they're getting millions on a yearly because we're stupid enough that we buy it every year, there's developers at ID at Xbox doing way more for the industry, pushing boundaries, trying new things. And speaking of Void Bastards, which again looks absolutely fantastic. It just looks like a mix of some of the most fun games I've ever come across. And I absolutely love the art style, the color. Like, name a game that looks anything like it, Boom. It's just
Borderlands is the only thing that comes close.
Yeah, in terms of art style, for sure. But it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And I go back to my point of like State of Decay. Like, State of Decay was an ID at Xbox title once upon a time. And now it's a first-party title for the Xbox Game Studio lineup.
Yep.
And State of Decay 2 was upgraded to a AA title. And State of Decay 3, we can only imagine, is going to be a AAA franchise.
Yes, I would imagine, yeah.
And that would not be... none of that would have happened if it wasn't for the innovation of its indie origin. Like... that's why all of these games, guys, I'm not saying you have to go out and play them, but just, respect where respect is due. Like, they look phenomenal. I love what they're doing, and I love this segment that they're doing over at Xbox, promoting this shit, man. And the fact that we, as the Game Pass subscriber, are going to have a chance to play all of these, like basically for free, day and date, makes me very excited. And I commend all the developers, because each and every one of these games looked completely different from the next. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Real quick, I just want to give a list of the 8 games that were shown. Now, again, there were some of them in there that were a bit, some of them are head scratchers. But I'm going to play them. I'm going to see them. They're in Game Pass, so I'm going to have access to them. And the first one is called Killer Queen Black, and it's an 8-player multiplayer action strategy platformer. It's how it was described. The second one was Outer Wilds. It looked like an exploration, open world mystery kind of a game. Void Bastards, of course, is like a BioShock meets Borderlands type of shooter. It has some strategy in there also, where you kind of like you have to pick which path you're gonna go, and when you die, you don't lose all your stuff, but you have to start back. I think back at the beginning, but you have all your gear, so it's very interesting. I'm gonna butcher this name. Operencia is a new age dungeon crawler. Supermarket Shriek. It looks like a wacky racer in a shopping cart. It looked a little strange. It could be fun. Something that I said, what WTF for, was The Good Life. It looked like a platformer where you're taking photos of your cat and dog. I don't know, man. I mean, it's probably not my cup of tea, but someone is gonna like that. Of course, Night School's After Party, which we talked about. It's like an Oxenfree adventure title. If you like Oxenfree, you're probably gonna really dig this. And the last one, and this one is the one that excited me the most. I know it sounds silly, but I'm an old school cat, right? I'm a Contra fan. Blazing Chrome looks like a combination of Contra and Bionic Commando, and I saw that. I said, I'm playing the shit out of that day one. But you know what? In the spirit, right? In the spirit of the ID at Xbox program, I added 2 more backward compatible arcade titles. Now, I have to give a shout out to Thanaros in the chat. He had made a mention that he misses Summer of Arcade. Now, I'm almost positive that I heard Phil Spencer say that Summer of Arcade will be returning this year. And if that, in fact, is the case, I'm going to be excited, because Summer of Arcade was some of the best titles I've ever played. Now, I have 2 titles down that are smaller titles, indie developers, games that it's possible that people missed that I have to suggest. Welsh, were you able to find 2 titles to suggest that were smaller arcade games?
I actually have 3.
Go crazy and tell us.
It was going to be 2, Boom, but thanks to the previous show, the one we did last week, I'll start with the third one that was spontaneous. I had to throw it in there, but that What Remains of Edith Finch game.
Yes, great title.
I literally, like, since the last show, I played it in one sitting, and what an amazing game. Still, once again, a lot like Telltale, an indie title, low budget. You can imagine it didn't take long to put together, apart from obviously the story and whatever, but just a fantastic story. Like, absolutely blew my mind how gripping. So sad as well. Honest to God, talk about heartbreaking. But the initial 2 that I did pick before I added Edith Finch was Inside.
It's a good one, dude. Good title.
That game is amazing. That game is so good. Like, what I love the most about it is the fact there's just no dialogue. There's nothing. It's just you're just going in one direction. You've got all these like puzzles. It's such a weird game, but I really enjoyed it. And second, on my list is Valiant Hearts.
Dude, that's a great title, dude.
I have 110%, ladies and gentlemen, at one point or another since we started this show, mentioned Valiant Hearts before, but it would do the game a disservice if I didn't use this opportunity, as we're talking about games we recommend on the indie format, to not point your attention to Valiant Hearts if you haven't played it already. I implore every last one of you in the live chat if you respect anything I have to say, even slightly, please do me a favor and try Valiant Hearts, even if it's like a couple of pounds or whatever on the store. Just do yourself a favor and buy it, play it. Not only is it historical, like with regards to World War One, it basically takes place in World War One in the trenches. It's a side scroller. The art style is beautiful. The soundtrack, the music, the story, the puzzles, everything. It's amazing. It's actually based, the story behind it and how it ends and stuff. I won't ruin anything. It's actually based on an actual family in World War One. It's like almost like a true story, or based on a true story.
True events, yes.
Yeah, and and it's educational. Like when you find certain collectibles, and there's like a big write up. Like one example I can give is back in World War One, there was it was the war that like I think invented, like where they invented mustard gas or something like that. So they used to, because they didn't have masks back then like they do nowadays, and like gas masks and all that kind of thing. They used to pee on a rag and tie it around their face, and that actually combated the effects of the mustard gas for short periods of time. That was what they used to protect themselves when they walked through mustard gas. Just interesting shit. I'm not sorry to bore you. I didn't want to give you a history.
No, this is great. I love it. This is what the show is about, dude. It's this we do. It's a talk show. We talk. That's what we do.
Oh, mate, absolutely. I mean, like, I just literally everyone you've just got to try it. You have to try it, and if you enjoy it and you love it, and just hit me up in the DMs on Twitter and tell me how you thought of it, because that's arguably one of my favorite games I've ever played. Genuinely, Boom. That is up there in my like top 50 or top 30 games that I'd take to my grave. I love that game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I played through it. I beat it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Really, the animation was amazing. The story was second to none. Those are actually three very strong picks. Here are mine. First of all, the first pick is by Tequila Softworks. It's called Deadlight. It is a zombie side scroller, which is a Metrovania. If you have not played this game, I believe it might be in Game Pass still. It is absolutely fantastic. It tells, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, if you're a fan of the zombie phenomenon that has hit this generation, you will absolutely love this game. And the second one, well, she's still there, brother.
Yeah, I'm still here, dude. Okay. I don't know what happened to my mic, but I am back.
Okay, all right. And the second one is called Dust, an Elysian Tale. And get this, the developer is called Humble Hearts. It's a 2D hand-drawn action platformer, again, a Metrovania style, created by one dude. One guy, the guy that did it is Dean Dodrill. He did this game. It took him 6, I think it might have been 7 years to produce this game. The only thing that was outsourced was the music. He did everything on his own. Both games are backwards compatible. Both games, the year that they came out on Summer of Arcade, were in my top 5 for the game of the year of that year. That's how great these games were. I mean, listen, this is what can I say? If you haven't played any of these games that both Drew and I have suggested, give them a shot. Write down the names and show these smaller titles some love. I guarantee you're going to come away seriously impressed. Drew, this was a great addition to today's show. But you know what? I want to talk about Void Bastards. I kind of want to really get into this because I pulled this story from GameInformer.com, and basically how embracing absurdity liberated Void Bastards, and the latest title from Blue Manchu will be making a big splash on the Xbox with Xbox gamers when it lands on Xbox Game Pass day and date. And according to the story, one of the most promising games Microsoft was showcasing at GDC 2019 was a strategy-focused immersive sim named Void Bastards, which tasks players with exploring randomized spaceships and scavenging for survival. When the player character dies, you spawn as a new explorer, but you still retain all of the equipment and progress. And the way that they show it's crazy. It's like the spacesuit falls over, something crawls on your back, it shoots some goo into it, and you reform into a new character. Very, very stylized.
Like a microwave meal.
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah.
It's like a microwavable Uncle Ben's rice, but human version.
It sounds gross, but it's also really cool. Now, honestly, Void Bastard looks to be like a mix, and I said this before, of BioShock meets Borderlands with a new age, fast-paced shooter with a strategy element to it, which is crazy to think you can have all of that mixed into one game. I've been interested in this title since its reveal in 2018, and Drew, to be honest with you, the more I see, the more this is an automatic day one. I would have purchased this, but because I have Game Pass, I don't have to, which is why I encourage anyone that listens to this show to get Game Pass because it's worth its weight in gold. Now, Drew, I sent you the trailer in DM. I just want to get your take on Void Bastards and how important do you think it is to Blue Manchu, who only had one game prior to this. Okay, it was a flash card game in the lines of Magic the Gathering that came out in 2015, and this is their debut to the gamers. Like, here, go out there and kill it. They're pushing them out on stage, but they're going to have all of the Xbox Game Pass subscribers playing their game day and date. How important is it for that small company?
Well, first of all, not to repeat myself, but I'm going to say what I said before regarding this Void Bastards. I love the art style. I'm just going to throw that out there first. Just wanted to say that from the off. I love the art style. With regards to gaming in general, I love a new take to a game. Like, even like Crackdown, all the hate it got for its cell shading, I thought it looked phenomenal. I felt like I was playing a comic book. Anything like that, anything different. And I love the art style for this game. And it's got a comedic value to it as well. Like we just said, like once you die, you deflate into some random little rocket. It takes you back to your ship. It farts out some pink goo, and you get microwaved in this machine, and boom, you're back on the game playing. It's just funky. But no, I gotta just say that I, for one, am truly glad that this game, as well as the others, but specifically this one, like, because we're talking about this one, I'm just very glad that it is going to Game Pass day and date, as I would love to try this game. And being that, as you just said, this is Blue Manchu's second ever project, technically their first when you think about it, because their first project was, I don't know, here I don't think many people would have liked it, to be honest, but still, nonetheless, it is their second ever project after a video game adaptation to a card game called Card Hunter. And, I can only assume that the developers want as many people to play their new game as humanly possible, as would any rookie developer new on the scene, trying to make a name for themselves. And with previous games, like we always say, Boom, and you've even referenced you and Salty, we like to hit the numbers. We like to reference analytics. And with regards to previous games like State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves, regardless of the hate they received, like, regardless of, oh, they're trash, they're this, they're that, those two games alone, Boom, and you can back me up here, have exceeded sales expectations tenfold with the help of Xbox Game Pass. Whereas people were like, oh, Xbox Game Pass is, take that L, Xbox. You're just making, basically, in a nutshell, they expected every game to fail because they were going to drop day and date on this service. But it has been, in fact, the exact opposite. So if this game, this Void Bastards, you bloody bastards, if this game is as good as it looks, and it is as fun as it looks, it should gain some serious ground. And if there was ever a place to gain this kind of ground, it would be on Game Pass for sure, Boom. So with that said, I do think it's very important for this game and games in general, like for game exposure, especially with these indie developers. I think it is an all-round great idea that it's going to Game Pass day and date. The more people that can get their hands on it, the better it'll do. And that's why Game Pass is an ingenious idea. I've said it before, say it again. The value is bar none.
Yes.
It's a great idea, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it.
Yeah, well, listen, dude. I actually, I don't think they had a release date for it, but it should be coming soon. It's definitely coming this year. Real quick before we move on to the next topic, the winner of the 3 months of Xbox Game Pass, we're just talking about that, Chaos Theory. Congratulations, dude. That's a big win for you. UK Dazarus will be reaching out to you through DM on Twitter to give you the code. Thank you to Daz for that. That is awesome. But outside of already being an incredible moderator, he's also providing prizes to the community. That is dope. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. So let's talk about games with gold. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, it's a back-to-back months of fantastic choices that you're going to get for free. So let's break down what you're getting for your $60 a year for the month of April, which I'm actually surprised that we got this information so early in the week, thanks to Larry Herb of Xbox. The first title up is called something called Technomancer. And if you don't know what this game is, it sells for $40. Now, I bought this a while back. It's basically Mass Effect. It's not as good as a BioWare game, but the game is worth your download. So if you're interested and you like BioWare's Mass Effect, I really think you're going to dig Technomancer. It has all kinds of different powers. It is a third-person shooter in space kind of a game. Go check out the trailer. I don't have it to show anyone now, but if you're interested, go check out on YouTube the debut trailer for Technomancer. I think you're going to be like, oh yeah, this game looks for me. And the second game is something called let's see what it's called, Outcast Second Contact. Now I've never heard of this game. I don't own it, so it's a big win for Boom. I'm going to download it. Now, whether the game is going to be good or not, I don't know. Technomancer is going to be available April 1st, and the Outcast Second Contact is going to be available for free download on April 16th through the May 15th. Okay. Now, on the Xbox 360 side, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. Drew, that's a great title to add to BC. Fantastic. And the second one, it seems to be a trend here. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original OG version. Now, I'm going to say this right now. First of all, why this is important is two reasons, Drew. Okay. First of all, Star Wars, we're getting another great Star Wars title. It's something that has been absent from this generation. Again, I'm not shitting on EA, but they've had the license for 6 years, and all we've gotten are 2 Battlefront games. And the second one was littered with microtransactions, which has been fixed, but the Battlefront games were not as good as the original. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the OG Xbox was amazing. I put hundreds and hundreds of hours. But why this is a little bit more important than you would think is that you will be able to play online. Remember, Battlefront was an online game. You will be able to play online with the OG Xbox game, which I don't even understand how they are able to do that. But that's going to be available to download. Listen, I mean,
but
what
boom,
are your
boom?
Yes,
Nobody wants to play old games.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You know what? We should cut this out from the show because you're right. Nobody wants to play old games. But anyway, getting back to what we were saying, what are your takeaways on the choices for games with gold for April 2019?
Do you know what, mate? This month is solid. I mean, you ask me, like, you. In fairness, you have consistently asked me at one point or another my thoughts on games with gold, like on a monthly basis, obviously. And every time I come back with, like some people like it, some people don't. I'm pretty in the middle. I don't really care. Blah 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 blah. This month, I gotta say, what a solid month with regards to backwards compat offerings. Boom. I'm really happy with this one. I gotta be honest. Pardon me. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is with being the classic version is an absolute must grab. With any luck, imagine Imagine if like there was a resurgence, a revolution. If everyone and their mother and their dog downloaded Star Wars Battlefront 2. the OG version, and it just like completely catapulted in popularity. Everyone was playing it, and then EA look at themselves in the mirror and they're like, God damn it, what have we done?
You know what? You never know, dude. You just never know what the fan. I mean, listen. The bottom line, to the point of what you're trying to make here, is Star Wars fans are starving for something good, and it seems like the OG Xbox games have been delivering that goodness for the last 3 months.
Yep, no, absolutely. And this is just another case. Like, you know, from what I've been told, this is a fantastic game. I can't wait to jump on the online. The fact that they've reactivated, should I say, the classic server, if you will, for Battlefront 2, I think that's phenomenal. I do honestly think more people should jump on this if you're fans of Star Wars, you were excited for what EA were doing and they fell short. You should definitely get on this as like a 2-finger salute to the EA Kings. But no, the most of all 4 things, though, Technomancer's probably going to be cool. I'll probably download it just so it's there. Outcast, I have the first Outcast game downloaded. Haven't actually played it, but I'll download the second Contact one just so it's there. But I got to be honest, like I'm not even looking at those 2 games, Boom. Like Star Wars Battlefront 2 has popped its head up for air and has definitely caught my attention. But the one game on this list of games, Boom, that has completely grabbed me by the throat is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. Oh my goodness gracious, what a phenomenal game that is. The memories with that game, Boom.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
That was one of the first games I ever played on the 360. Like that game is outstanding. Don't get me wrong, Ghost Recon Wildlands and what is good, but I would love it if they brought back Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
Yes.
Like if they brought back, whether they like remastered the first one or they did continued the old way and did an Advanced Warfighter 3 or something of that effect. Oh man, what a fantastic game. What a fantastic game. Definitely a big recommendation. Anyone who likes the old style of Tom Clancy Ghost Recon. The indie gamer, he just said Wildlands went off the rails for me. I completely agree. I love Ghost Recon Wildlands for the reason being it's open world and all that, and you can jump in with your mates. But that's the only Ghost Recon Ghost Recon game I've ever owned that I have not played a single minute in its single player. It's kind of just the way they've done it.
Well, they shifted gears. They really shifted gears to where you were hunting drug dealers, right? As opposed to, doing military related, combat. So, I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit and lie to you and say I didn't enjoy it. I got 1,000 out of 1,000 achievement points in that game. I freaking put so many hours into it. It was bananas. I loved the Predator DLC, which was amazing. I never beat the Predator, that bastard. But yeah, I'd like to see them return to form. I would actually, I know this is completely off the subject. We're talking about Ghost Recon. I would love to see them return to form with Splinter Cell. I'd like to see them return to form with Ghost Recon. But I'd also like to see them return to form with Rainbow Six, like release like a Rainbow Six Vegas 3 or something. Man, that was so good. Thank you for the standing ovation.
Dude, if you could see me now, I am bowing at your excellence right now. Dude, you are literally speaking my language. I actually had Rainbow Six Las Vegas 1 and 2 put to one side with an asterisk as my recommendation for BC next week.
Nice.
Because that is another one, man. Don't even get me started. That franchise, dude. Boom, carry on, man. You're speaking too many truths, man.
Well, listen, well, that's what we do on this show. We talk truth. We're gamers, and we're hanging out with a bunch of gamers in the chat, and that's exactly what this show is about. Again, it may not be as flashy as some of the other some of the other Xbox shows, but we try to give you honest opinions, good content. We want to be different than everyone else. That's why we're not talking about everything that everyone else is talking about, and that's what you're going to get with this show, and we do appreciate it. I want to talk about the last topic of the day. It's a smaller topic. In regards to Xbox, there really wasn't a lot of news, so you have to dig. And you have to make these, shows, eventful because people want to tune in and listen. And I enjoy doing this. Now, if you're a big fan of this generation's best original game, Cuphead, besides it going to the Nintendo Switch, which I'm so excited for MDHR to make more money on a game that more people need to play. You'll want to sell your soul to the devil for these Cuphead construction sets that are being advertised on Amazon.com. There's 3 of them. Obviously, Cuphead wowed us with their 1930s inspired hand-drawn animation. And now, thanks to sets from McFarlane Toys, you're going to be able to add these to your collections. Now, the one thing about gamers, we're not fickle in the sense of our collectibles. Like, if you're a gamer, there's a good chance that you like comics, you like superhero movies, you like statues, or you like toys. And I'm 48 years old, and I've got to be honest with you, when I get something new, a new statue or, a collectible figure, I get just as excited as I did when I was 10. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm okay with that because it's probably why I don't look 48 at all. And I've been told that. And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm still an old man. I get it, but I don't look it. And I'm happy about that. And I think it's because my heart is filled with joy and love. And with me, it's unicorns and rainbows all day long. So I enjoy collecting toys. I enjoy collecting collectibles that are gaming related. And these sets are awesome. I sent you the pictures of them. I'm going to buy all 3 because I'm a big Cuphead fan. I suck at the game, but I love, love, love Cuphead. I have a good friend in the chat, Jay the Destroyer. His kids love Cuphead. I'm sure he's going to go out and buy these sets. They're Lego inspired, but they call them construction sets because you can't call them Legos. And Todd McFarlane's company is doing it, so it's going to be packed with quality. The sets include Chaotic Casino, Devil's Throne, and Devious Dice. And they feature the familiar characters like the Devil, King Dice, Mugman, and of course Cuphead. Right now, Chaotic Casino is currently unavailable on Amazon, but the other 2 are still up for pre-order as of this show. They're $16 each, which is not bad. Drew, is this another way for fans to express their support to MDHR? And to be completely honest, I'm probably going to pick all 3 up. What about you? Are you interested in smaller sets like this?
Well, it's very evident to say, it's very obvious, really. There are so many collectors out there, Boom. It is fair to say that these are going to fly off the shelves. At least I think so. My advice to everyone listening, if you are interested in these models, like, pre-order pronto if you're interested. I can't see them lasting very long, and I imagine it's for a limited time, no doubt. What, Boom, while I gave up on Cuphead a long time ago as I found it so difficult, it was so hard, it was becoming a danger. Like,
That's great,
mate.
Oh my
I was
God,
literally like, I was like becoming very dangerous, hostile. Oh man. So yeah, I had to put Cuphead aside a while ago. I'm not saying I'll never go back to it. I'm a fan of its work, but yeah, to say it, yeah, I found it very difficult. But I am a huge, huge proponent, fan. I respect the shit out of what MDHR have achieved and the sacrifices. A lot of people don't know this, but the sacrifices they made.
Oh, crazy.
Throughout the course of Cuphead's development, the sacrifices they made, ridiculous. They deserve as much support as they can get, and because they did something rarely seen in gaming today, Boom, and it is very rarely seen, and that is this: 110% devotion and passion in a project. So much passion that the game was hand drawn,
yes,
from the ground up. And in order to finish this project, guys, they had to remortgage their houses. I mean, that is just insane commitment. So, if I could afford all these models, Boom, I'd buy them. That wouldn't be I'd buy them tomorrow. I'd probably give them to my son or something, or have one of them like next to my Xbox, like, as like a cool memento. I'd snap them up immediately on principle alone. Like, even if I didn't like Cuphead, I'd snap them up because out of respect for what these guys have done. So all I can say to anyone listening is, if anyone out there is a fan of MDHR and what they have done, and you maybe a collector as well, like, show your support to this fantastic team. They certainly deserve it. Like, it can't be understated just what they've done. and they've set a new precedent. I think that like that is the gold standard of how much passion you must put into any game. I hope that every single developer out there takes notes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Real quick, I'm reading the chat and I'm laughing my head off. The Indie Gamer says the Cuphead rage is real.
Yeah.
And right after that, a good friend of the show, Brian Harris, says there are videos on YouTube of people smashing their TVs in disgust of losing. Look, I'm going to say this. I know when to walk away. And like you, I'm not gonna say that I was getting ready to break a controller or smash a TV, because you break this shit, you're gonna have to buy it. You have to replace it. So don't do that. But I've come to understand that the game is gorgeous. I'm gonna buy it on the Switch. I'm gonna probably make it past. I think I got to just the start of the second island. That's all. And some of the bosses, man, they're just wow. So difficult. But again, you have to tip your cap to what they were trying to do. And they, again, the games like this were standard fare back in the NES days, right? So you played games like Kid Icarus. What a ball-breaking game, but it was fun as hell, right? I hate you hate to get turned into an eggplant, and it happened all the time. It was just you want to throw your controller. Just don't do that. But I'm going to say this, Drew. We're coming up on the 90-minute mark, and this has been one amazing show. Again, some of the smaller topics we the chat seemed to really like, so we hit on something. But we want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us on this Xbox passion project that Drew and I have embarked on. We want to continue to bring you the best Xbox content, and of course, the more news that releases, you're going to hear it first here. Drew, again, I know that you're back to doing videos, and we've been talking in the background of a possible secret project that we're working on that we're not ready to announce, but we are kind of working on something. Please tell everyone where they can support you on YouTube by supporting your channel, but more importantly, chat with you on Twitter.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Boom. Like, what a great show yet again. Everyone in the chat, big ups to all of you. You are a fantastic group. Love this every week, without a doubt. Hit me up on Twitter at the Welsh Gamer 93. DM me, whatever. Like, I'm an open book. And as for my YouTube channel, go over the Welsh Gamer 3 words, hit that sub button and that bell icon, because more videos to come. And hopefully, like Boom said, me, him, and a few other individuals are in talks, and got a few ideas up our sleeves, so stay tuned for some sort of announcement. But as for the Xbox Factor, once again, Boom, what a fantastic show. Like, just doesn't get old, man. I hope we're doing this in our hundreds.
Yeah. I look forward to this each and every Thursday. And of course, there's going to be more breaking news with Microsoft, and like I said, you're going to get that here first, and all you're going to get here is hashtag truths. We are gamers at heart. We enjoy doing this because we're passionate about the Xbox brand, but also respect the other companies as well. That's something you're also going to get on the show. You're going to get respect. Your opinion does matter, even if it's different from ours. The chat, once again, was absolutely fantastic. UK Dazarus did not realize that he wasn't moderating because he did some changes to his channel, so I have to add him. I was wondering why, because I was wondering why I was getting messages saying I miss modding, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? You're welcome here every time. Not realizing he wasn't modding the show anymore, but that will be rectified as soon as the show is over. The super chats, my God, folks, thank you so much for your generosity. The support you show this show is just nothing short of unbelievable, so thank you for that. And of course, my co-host, which I would not want to do the show with anyone else. Drew, thank you for your time. Listen, everyone, have a great day. Enjoy your Thursday. The weather is getting great. Be kind to one another. Play your games. Have fun. And we will see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Take care, everyone.